swear, when we had our kids, the writing project. All right. Writing project wasn't done here, it was somewhere else. They came here, but then they understood what the heck you're talking about. So you bring up a subject, you have a good discussion, they write about it. You focus in on certain things and that's it. Don't overdo it. Yeah. And if they understand it, don't forget, you're repeating it, you're repeating it, you're repeating it, you're repeating it.
And when you think about this, it's like the garden allows you or provides the environment that you can do that self-reflection that.
Well, what it does, it gets you, piques your interest because you're in a strange place. Okay. But once you get over that, and you get what this is about, you can have that conversation anywhere. Like, for example, now I know I've been doing this for 9,000 years. I'm not that old. I'm 80. Okay.
80,000.
So 9,080 is kind of big gap. The thing is, when you talk about meditation,
Yes.
I meditate here talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's relaxing. The people talk meditation, you got to sit there and go, no, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's teaching you how to calm down. Yeah. And then throwing science into it, and that's again, it's on the wellness side, is the fact of knowing, understanding how the brain works.
When you say, because we've talked about that before, when you say, this allows you the opportunity to think about thinking.
Right.
What does that mean to you?
What that means,
What does that mean to you, that phrase, think about thinking?
that was your phrase.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you?
What that means to me is, I'm sitting there saying, I got to think about thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I got to think about what these things, all the philosophical lessons that I'm learning, how do they apply in my life?
Mm-hmm.
So these are tools. Okay. And then learning from each tool and how do I apply it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do I use these tools?
So you take things that people might think could be part of the past and really apply them to your own situation.
Could be, or you just learn from others.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, this is what I'm talking about. Like, for example, who are you learning from? Your experiences. They don't have to be your experience. I'm taking your experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you're walking over there and I see you going over the cliff,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep falling, I don't want to go over there.
Right.
This is the big thing with the kids, where they're making decisions. You're talking about your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you listen to? Okay, that's a toughie. And especially when you get students, like when they're little, they're listening.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden they get older, and then all of a sudden they get new friends
Mm-hmm.
who are not telling them the same thing. Okay. And having the ability to say, and I didn't mention this or nothing, toughest thing, one of the toughest things is your peer group. Never goes away. Saying no to your peer group. Okay. Quite often I get certain guys that are in my peer group, they don't like it at times when I call them on. Okay. And I really don't care at that point. But you have to sort of say, remember I said CNN and Fox News, where are you? You have to be able to see both sides, or 3 sides, or 4 sides, or whatever.
So you have to have the courage to follow your own path.
You got it. You have to have courage to follow your own path. But you also have to have the understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, I think I told you about when I had, and this is all okay, because we talked about it before, when I was talking to Tony Chilkin from the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about Carlton Hasselby.
Mm-hmm.
And because he was part of our mentoring group and whatever. He said, Carlton was great at, he says, yeah, on a mat, on a football field, he wasn't afraid of anyone. He was afraid of life. He was afraid of, how do I measure up as a dad?
Mm-hmm.
It's not kicking somebody rear end. It's as a husband, as a dad. Yeah. And then if, for example, yeah, we have a very nice home and we had another nice house in town and all that kind of stuff. My favorite house is one we bought first. It was the cheapest one. We had a little white fence. I was happy as could be. Lost it because I couldn't afford $74 a month. Okay. That's what Socrates talks about. Ideal life. What is that? Is it fame? Is it fortune? You know.
You said that you referred to this place as a strange place. You were hearing it was a strange place. But it's an uncommon place though, right? It's an uncommon classroom.
Oh, unique. It's unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I mentioned was I went to probably 24 gardens in the country. And a lot of those places put this to shame as far as their expenses and all that kind of stuff. Okay. But they're all geared for people with lots of money. Okay. And this is not open. There is no such a thing as for a common man. This is for a common man. Okay. And we have more. You come through here, or you go to Rockefeller's place. Go to Rockefeller's and say, wow. But then you're done. Wow here is not that golden Buddha sitting down there. The wow is the lessons.
How do you think that the environment adds to the lessons?
Oh, it gets your attention. What it does, okay, now we saw it with the best people that we saw it with were the alternative school kids who came up. And I think I told you the story about the kid that was a total disaster down in Garfield. And it comes up and he's about as quiet as can be. And I'm like, what's going on? And he says, oh, and by the way, when our survey was, what did you like the most? The quiet. Here's a kid that's on pills to keep him calm. Within 15 minutes, it's like, where am I? Okay. So it's like, yeah. And so they get it. And then the last question was, how can we improve? He says, I want more time. He just spent 2.5 hours with Socrates and he wants more time. And he's flunking everything in school. And they're walking around and Eric Schwer, first time. Eric Schwer comes up and we're walking him around. And he's going to teach the kids poetry. Okay, and I'm going like, you're going to teach these, to myself. You're going to teach these guys. He starts talking. They're listening. They're not listening a little bit. Okay, we underestimate the kids. Just like they underestimated. Like when I read my stuff, I was 7, 8, 9. I got my PhD in philosophy by the time I was 11.
You know, we always give kids what we think they need.
Well, yeah.
How does this place give visitors what they think they need?
It happens automatically. You don't have to think too hard. It just happens. That's what the survey's about. If you read every one of those, want to be part of this? I want to. And what happens is that if you, for example, and I have to be careful how I say these things because now I'm picking on certain individuals in certain programs. The Mount Aloysius, recently in the papers, we're going to stop the brain drain in Johnstown. And that this leadership group that's going to help this with this problem. And they have a leadership group and they meet twice and that's it. Now in 2 meetings, you're gonna fix everybody? Are you kidding me? What this is, and yeah, we didn't go through it. It's one of the things is you got to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. That's how you get that. That's what that's about. That's when we were talking about having kids earning maybe scholarships.
Mhm. Well, when you look at this, it's on nature's scale.
Pardon me?
It's on nature's scale. That it's longer, it shows you that. you
No,
have to
it's
be-
like a long term.
Yeah, consistent.
Consistent. You have to do it, and then becomes part of you.
Mhm.
And remember what I said to you, I didn't realize how I was affected until I was 25 years old. I went to a couple of those seminars and I went, wait a minute, I understand how this works. The speaker's talking to me, he's talking to the whole group, but I'm the only guy that gets it. And it's taught. This thing is taught. You know, it's not something you take a pill and it becomes automatic. Or you put it out in the woods and say, go look at it, forget it. Yeah, it's taught. Now, how difficult is it to teach it? It's not.
Do you think that it means different things to different people?
Oh, yes, but if you look at the whole thing, everything's repeated.
Mhm.
You know, it's like this from this culture and this culture and this culture and this culture, and you go through the tour, and they're all saying the same thing. Doesn't matter who it is or where it's coming from. It's the same message.
So there's a pattern to quality of life.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's bad. They're all saying the same thing. Yeah. So after a while, it starts to just evolves. That's it.
If you were going to capture this in one word, what would it be?
Oh, don't do that to me. I can't. Because that's what we all do. We look for the catchy phrase.
Yes.
So we all sit around trying to figure out a catchy phrase that's going to catch everybody. And it doesn't exist. It's like me listening to Warren Buffett last night for an hour, and he kept laughing at all the mistakes he made. Where's the catchy phrase, Warren? There isn't any. I get screwed up and screwed up and screwed up, and I laughed about it. It's having, if there is anything, it's like happiness is learned. And that's also repeated everywhere. Okay. You are who you are, you try your best. It's okay. It's okay.
So you have to learn happiness. It doesn't come to you.
Okay. That's part of our programming.
Yeah.
I think you talked about that.
Yeah.
The great book on that is part of our program is Happiness Advantage. And it's a wonderful book. And that's part of, in other words, as we're going through, that's part of the thing that we promote and we talk about. And again, it comes back to the same old thing, it's what you think.
Mhm.
Okay. And what happened with the Happiness Advantage is, it's awesome. It's a regular guy who went to a normal school, belongs to a not so well off family. Okay. Now they weren't in poverty, but they were, in the middle class. And his goal, he was #1 student in his class. He wanted to go to Harvard. So he worked his rear end off, and he ends up in Harvard. So he goes to Harvard, and then he's like, wow, he had all this pressure. He talks about how much he studied in high school so he can go to Harvard, because that was his goal. So he gets to Harvard, and then he looks around and says, oh my God, these guys are all smart. Can I compete? Yeah, I got in. Now what? So the pressure just went from here to here. He thought he was going to be nice and happy, right? Pressure, 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 pressure. And then Harvard tells you, we brought you here because you're capable, or you're able, you have skills. We're going to train you so you can go out and get the best job you can. And we have people waiting to interview you. Okay? They're waiting for guys like you. Whew. So you work hard, so then you can be good enough so the recruiters, same thing as playing football in college. You want to be drafted by the pros, you got to work your rear end off, right? Okay, so now he's recruited. He made a cut again. He's next level. Okay. So he gets hired. Whew. Now I can be happy. The answer is no. Now you're in the real world where you're competing against all the guys like you, and the pressure is increased. And the pressure is incredible because now you're in a fast-moving world. You better produce. You're the Harvard guy. We're paying you big bucks. It never ends. So you know what he said? You better learn how to be happy from day one. That's the most important part. Then you'll be good. You can relax. And that's what this is. You relax.
We created this as a resource,
Yeah.
kind of giving back.
I don't know. The people say that. It's not about me giving back. It's me. If there is anything with me, is that when I was a kid, we had nothing. Okay. Excuse me. And I was very lucky. When I started mentoring the kids, okay, and I saw kids who were being wasted because there was no support for them that we were getting to, who were responding, and I saw it as a huge failure on my part because nobody really realized except me. They were letting them down. So I have a bunch of pictures looking back and saying, you know, can you imagine how those kids will be today if we'd have continued this for the last 6 years? Give you a great example of this. My wife's in a hospital and she's overdosed on prescribed medication. Okay. I mean, she's gone. When you see a lot of press on this now, at that time, it was kind of, you didn't see much of it. Yeah. But she was in a hospital and she's basically in there. She's not going to get any treatments or anything. Just, she has to now just get that out of her system. And there's like a 2-3 week period. Nothing. Okay. So she's in a hospital. Okay. And bad, really bad. And all of it was because prescription drugs that the doctors gave her. Okay. Now, for pain. At the same time I'm in there, she's at the Carnival. She's in there for like 3 days. I get a phone call. Now they have a wing over here for adults and they have a wing over here for kids, young adults. It's a phone call. And they call me and say, so-and-so left your name and your phone number to contact you. He was here because he left a suicide note. Okay? And when you go to a hospital and you're in a suicide watch, same hospital, same everything. My wife's in one wing, he's another wing. and you leave a phone number of somebody that you want, that they should contact, okay? You know how many times I saw him? About 4. That's it. The thing is, he had an abusive father. He had a terrible relationship with his mother. Okay. He got in trouble. He was going to Ferndale. He got in trouble with the assistant principal. So I walked in the hospital. I said, "What happened?" He says, "Oh, I was stupid." So what'd you do? He says, "Mr. So-and-so," and I knew assistant principal, wonderful guy, great with kids. He went over and put his hand on his shoulder to talk to him. And kid turns around and says, don't touch me or I'll cut you. And he went back like over here. I said, "What'd you have back there?" He says, "My comb." He says, "And I don't blame him for calling the cops." That's what he said. He realized exactly what happened to him. Okay, and you can't blame the assistant principal for calling the cops, right? The point was, it's arrested, all that kind of stuff, nothing. Make the long story short, we were making headway with kids like that. Very bright. Okay, he just needed somebody to help him a little bit.
Well, if I hear what you're saying, part of the gardens is the importance of relationships. But maybe the most important relationship is the one that you have with yourself.
Well, yeah, you got to figure out who you are. Who am I? And what do I stand for? Yeah. And all you need, you don't need a ton of people. You can change the world with half a dozen folks. If you have the right folks, okay, if you look at our surveys, and I go back to our surveys, we had a ton of those, hundreds. How many people we had involved? A couple. That's it. And they fed off each other. It was the kids and the adults, the visitors fed off each other.
Do you have any thoughts that you'd kind of like to sum everything up with?
Yeah, when I have a muffin.
Is there something that you kind of think that, pulls some things together?
I believe in
You've been
this.
doing this for a while.
Hey, it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
I want to make it work.
Mhm.
Okay. And when you were talking about before legacy, and forget my legacy. That's not what this is about. For me, it's helping those kids. Because I see me. When I see those kids, I see me. And I do feel it in my stomach. When I remember when I was starving and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And I see people as who they are. I don't, I think it's a gift from the standpoint that, we talk about essential workers today. I don't distinguish between a surgeon and nurse's aide or a teacher's aide. Guys, I saw some of the best people here were teacher's aide. You know why? Because they were close to the kids and they cared. They cared. Much rather have a teacher's aide who cares than have a head administrator who could care less. Or is really on a mission to impress everybody with whatever, the PR. Successful PR, I don't care about. Look, can I have my muffin?